Hello everybody, Noah Films here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be reacting to and reviewing Aqua Studios Ultimate Spider-Man Episode 6.1, Consequences. So I don't really know why the decimal is there. I guess it's like one part of the episode and there's going to be another part, because he had talked about how he didn't want it to be super long and he wanted to release something. So I'm assuming that's why the decimal is there. But yeah, this is 11 minutes long. It's the longest episode yet. I think the longest before was the most recent one, which was like 9 minutes. But that was in like January, so it's been a while. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I've seen some little clips from this episode and just stuff Aqua has done recently, and he's shown a lot of more improvement. And I'm pretty excited to see what he's got. It's been a while since he's actually released a full stop motion, so that's why I'm even more excited for it. So yeah, let's get right into it.
Mysterio.
We'll start off right away.
Associate of mine. He was a great criminal.
That's definitely Maple. Oh no. Why is he using this music? Oh god. This is like the cringe YouTube music that...
Hello,
oh god.
I am the Mysterio. Would you mind putting the money in the bag?
Aqua is Mysterio.
Else we will have a
I like
conflict,
that
my friend.
effect. And the set is decent. Yeah. And this poor guy, and he just beats him. Oh jeez. Oh my gosh. I think maybe on the drawn effect you could make it a little thinner. I don't know, or lower the opacity, maybe. But like that effect too. I like the effects right now. So he's... oh my. Here's the intro again. So he's adding in another villain. I want to see first how he executes it before I make a judgment on it. Oh, is Aunt May gonna be in this episode again? Is Crescent? Oh, please tell me Crescent's not voicing Aunt May.
Hey, sir. A lot
This
of
scene
things-
doesn't need music and it's too loud.
It's unacceptable, Parker. Here, we focus
And
on
the
our
chairs
work.
are also moving quite a bit.
to visit
This
him.
is weird music choice. I don't know. Like that transition. Good little moving shot coming in. Although it was kind of quick.
Good news.
I don't know if you're gonna... I can barely even hear Star Wars Collector and the sound effects because the music's too loud.
Nothing like some good old pizza to myself. Pizza time. Huh?
Hey, Pete. Mind if I
Oh
sit
god,
here?
he said pizza time.
Sure.
Oh no.
Sorry.
It's good that he's adding some movement while talking. Although I think it could be animated a little better because I think it can be a little quick. But it's alright. It's alright. It's good that he's actually doing it because a lot of people don't even do that. Also, the set could have been painted better. It feels like when he painted it, the strokes weren't going the same way or whatever. And again, the music's too loud. Just turn it down or not even have it at all. You don't need to shove music into every single dialogue scene. Oh no. Please. No Crescent. Please.
Peter,
Who is it?
why did I get a call from your school
No!
saying you've been in class constantly?
No!
You're better
Oh
than this,
no!
From now on, 1, you will be home by 8, no exceptions. And 2, you better call me when you get to
Oh
school.
no!
No, I'm tired.
Why?
I can't live.
Oh my gosh, he seriously is Crescent is on me again. Ah!
No, I will not.
Okay, transition's getting a little repetitive there. You should maybe shouldn't do it every time.
Started.
Where do you find this music from?
Your first objective.
This is kind of a cool shot though. Wonder how you did that. Oh yeah, I like the lighting in this.
Oh, Peter. This is your number. It's me, Gwen.
Gwen?
Yeah, I found your number through...
That's cool how he did the split screen thing.
What's up, Gwen?
Very
What?
funny.
If I,
What is this music?
that's the kid whose uncle was
what is it?
I'll be right.
I like these shots are well animated for sure. Okay, that went by quickly. But hey, it was pretty good. Yeah, seems like probably the best one. Or we'll have a little promo. Ooh. 6.2 meaning. Okay, so I'm back now after rewatching the episodes the next day because I was filming at like 12:30 a.m. For the reaction. So I'm back now. I just rewatched the episode and I've rated all the categories. And I have a new category system or just new categories in general. So it's more categories, but it's still going to be the same amount of points, or not really the same amount of points. Okay, let me just run through it. All the categories. So the first one is animation fluidity, or like the smoothness of the animation, how smooth it is, and that's out of 5. And then animation movement is also out of 5, and that can just combine into just animation. But I want to talk about the different parts of it, so it's not kind of restricting with just 10 categories. Because I don't think, I mean, 10 categories is quite a few, but I don't know. I just want to do a few more that I think could deserve their own category, even if it's just out of 5. So, and then next one, sets. I mean, that can't be broken down in any other category, so I just put it as one category out of 10. The cinematography, the angles, that's out of 5. And then lighting is also out of 5. And then voice acting is out of 10. Dialogue's out of 10. Plots out of 10 because all those are really important. Characters is also out of 10. Audio quality is out of 5. Visual quality is also out of 5. Sound design, like the sound effects and stuff, is out of 5. Music is out of 5. And visual effects is out of 5. So those are all the categories. I think it's 15 or something like that. And I add up the totals, and it's out of 100. And so I can just easily get my percent there. So let's say the score added up to like 75 out of 100, it would be 75%. That's not the score for this episode, but I was just using that as an example. So let's just get right into this. So I'm not going to go from highest to lowest. I'm just going to go right down my list here on my Google Doc. So animation fluidity is a 3 out of 5. So it was decently smooth, I think. There were times where it was kind of choppy, kind of a little too fast. Like in when they move while talking, which is good that he added moving while talking, but I think it might have been a little choppy. Could have used a few more frames, or maybe just slowed the frame rate down. Because yeah, for dialogue scenes, you gotta make sure you don't animate at the same speed as you do for fight scenes, because obviously fight scenes are gonna be faster, so you're gonna animate at a higher frame rate. So, but I'm pretty sure you would go at a lower frame rate for dialogue scenes, but if you don't, just make sure you do that. But yeah, overall animation, I mean, it is a little bit better than the last one, but it's not by that much. It's alright, but it's not great or bad, which is honestly can describe a lot of things about this. Yeah, and in this one, like it was alright, but it could still use some improvement. I think you just got to work on some of the speed of things and just making sure it's smoother, and doing that. So yeah, but that'll get better as it goes on, just naturally. So I'm not too worried about that. Animation movement is a 3.2 out of 5. Because I do think the movements themselves, although fast, sometimes were pretty realistic for the most part. Like some of the stuff looked pretty good, where like the jump, and that scene where Spider-Man is in the city, where he jumped from that building to the other building, that was pretty cool. And there were a few other movements that looked pretty good and realistic. Yeah, I just gotta work on the speed. I kind of put that in animation fluidity too, but I'll mention that here. But 3.2 out of 5, still pretty good score. Just could use some improvement still. Sets, 6.7 out of 10, which is the highest score he has gotten for sets by far, I think, or at least by a full point. Because the sets were a lot better. There were a few that were actually painted, and he has some actual like props in here, like the couches, computers and stuff like that. Really made the sets interesting. He still has those weird like bin things or whatever as the walls on some of them, which that's honestly one of my only complaints, is he should probably just get some cardboard and just paint it. Also, I mentioned this in the reaction, I think, with one of the sets that was painted white. It wasn't painted very well. It was like when he painted it, he just went like in all different directions and stuff, and you shouldn't do that. You should just make sure you're going in like the same direction. but at least it was painted. And the props really made these sets a lot better. And that just shows how props can really make, you know, a set that kind of looks, you know, a little average or meh to being like a pretty cool set. So yeah, but just get those weird bin walls out of there and just start painting stuff so then it looks different, because those walls get repetitive because they're the same exact thing for a lot of the sets. So yeah, just make sure you get some paint. Find as much cardboard as you can. It's pretty easy to find cardboard, usually, I guess. So yeah, just make sure you do that, and that'll really help the sets. But you definitely did better, and like I said, those props were very good. Cinematography, the angles, is a 2.5 out of 5. So it's right in the middle, pretty average. I'd say, like, use the rule of thirds more. That's because I know you don't have to use it all the time, but you should. He doesn't really use it that much. Like, I get it for close-ups, putting characters' faces in the middle of the frame for like really close-up shots, but a lot of the time he doesn't use it like at all and just sticks them in the middle of the frame, which it's not bad, but using the rule of thirds makes a more interesting shot for sure. And just some other things like sometimes he cropped out the eyes, or like the eyes weren't in frame for some of the shots I noticed, which you got to make sure the eyes are released in frame. Also, I think focus can go into here because like on one of the shots with one of the police officers or whoever it was at the computer, it was focused on the computer and not the guy talking, which should be focused on the guy talking, not the computer, because the computer is not a very important part of the shot. Yeah, most of the shots are pretty basic, although there was one cool shot I liked. There were other good shots, of course, but this is probably my favorite, which was the transition shot to the principal's office where, like, the paper went in front of frame and then we went into the office. That was actually a pretty good shot. There was another one that I liked, which is where in the city, I mentioned this shot before because it was well animated, but it's also great cinematography where Spider-Man jumped from building to building, and that was a really cool shot. One, because of the lighting, which I'll mention in the next category, and two, because the angle just looked really cool. So yeah, there was some good stuff, but it wasn't enough. Lighting gets a 4 out of 5. So the lighting was very good, honestly. He used a lot of different color filters. The standout was the purple one at night, which looked cool, even though it's not too realistic to have purple at night. It still looked cool. And also there were a few other times where he used like the different color lighting, which I think can really add a lot to a scene. So yeah, lighting was pretty good. I'm impressed with it. He only used different color lighting like once last episode. This episode he used it a lot more, and I very much enjoyed that. Voice acting gets a 6.7 out of 5. It was fine. First off, I'm just gonna get the elephant out of the room. Crescent is Aunt May. You have no other choice, but I'm still pointing it out because it's awful. I mean, just keep on looking, even if it's another guy. Just keep on looking for anyone besides Crescent, because Crescent's obviously not gonna take it seriously. If you know Crescent, you know what I mean. Yeah, you gotta, oh man, just don't have him be in there. But there's other stuff to talk about because Ame had like 3 lines in this episode. She wasn't as prominently in this as the last one, which is good. And then Aqua as Spider-Man is pretty good. He puts emotion into it, and I think his voice fits the character decently well. I don't know how old he's supposed to be. What is 15? Something like that? 16? Maybe? I don't know. Something like that. So, yeah, and Aqua's kind of around that age. He's 14, I think. Like the same age as me. So, yeah. Thundercat as Norman Osborn. Pretty good. And, yeah, I can't wait for Green Goblin to be in this and Thunder to voice him. That's going to be great. Oh, yeah, Aqua voiced the older Mysterio back in that flashback scene, which was, did not fit. I know it was a short scene, but I mean, still could have used someone else. So yeah, and he didn't really change his voice either. So like the guy he was beating, had the same voice as Mysterio, so I thought that was weird. But overall, voice acting was pretty good. Dialogue is a 6.5 out of 10. It was alright. Another one of these is just alright, but not great, but not really bad. I feel like the conversations between Peter and Gwen need to feel more like alive and have more of a fun factor, because it doesn't really feel like they're really in a relationship or their relationship is growing. They're just kind of talking to each other like, hey, party got canceled. Okay. Like, I feel like the writing could be better, and that could also create better performances from the voice actors when the writing is better. But I think dialogue definitely felt more natural in this one. I just think it could use a little more fun with relationship stuff and just overall with a lot of the other things. But it definitely wasn't bad. It was better than the other episodes. He's getting slowly better at that dialogue. I mean, he's getting slowly better at just about everything, to be honest. Yeah, especially here with the dialogue. It's come a long way when you look at the past episodes. Plot gets 6.6 out of 10. Another thing that has come a long way. And I think it was pretty solid, but could still use improvement, obviously, because I think there's quite a lot of plot lines he has to keep track of. And he introduced another one with Mysterio coming in there, which I don't think he needs to be here. I think we could just finally focus. I thought this was going to be an episode where we would finally focus on Green Goblin and Tombstone, which have been set up since like episode 3 or 4. I think 4, actually. And they were especially set up in episode 5, I think. But yeah, then he just introduces Mysterio and doesn't really have too much of a point to the story. Which, I mean, I don't think Mysterio was done very badly, but I think it's just another thing to introduce to the series. It doesn't really need to be there. Also, I think some scenes might have been a little too short. I think the Aunt May and Peter scene was cut too short, although, you see, I'm glad it was, because Crescent's voice acting as Aunt May is bad, but also, it's an important scene, Peter arguing with his aunt, but Peter just kind of storms out of the room like that, just after Aunt May says like one thing. I feel like there could have been more of an exchange there, but I also understand why it was probably cut short. It was probably longer in the script, but because of Crescent's voice acting, he probably cut it short. That's what I'm assuming. Maybe not, though. I don't know, but that's what I'm assuming. A few other scenes could have been a little longer, but I do think it was good. It just might be a little too much plot line. It might be too many plot lines to keep track of. But I do think the pacing was decent. Everything overall with plot was decent. Nothing was bad. I feel like I'm repeating myself with a lot of these categories. Characters, 6.4 out of 10. It's alright. Again. I think Peter in this episode, he tries to set up something with him being frustrated with everyone wanting things from him, but that could have been explored more. But instead, it's barely there, and we just have to keep the plot moving, but we sacrifice development for the characters. And I think, honestly, he should have just done both parts of episode 6 together into one, like, 20-minute episode. That would have been cool. Even if it would have been a few extra months, I would have liked it. So this, like, feels like an incomplete episode for the characters and all that. And then Gwen doesn't really have a personality, to be honest. Like, she doesn't really do too much. I can't really name a personality trait for her character. She just has nothing really to do and is just kind of forced in there as a love interest. Mysterio, or Xander Beck, just kind of, I mean, got a little struggle with not being able to apply for the job, but it wasn't really explored as much as it could have been, I guess. Which is, I mean, it's a 10-minute episode, so it's understandable, but still. And yeah, those are the only notable characters, to be honest. It was all, like, decent, set up some good things, but just didn't develop those things as much as he should have. Audio quality, 4.6 out of 5. Audio quality was all very good. I don't have to say much. It was pretty clear. There wasn't any, like, background noise to it and all that. All the mic quality seemed to be good from all the voice actors and Aqua himself. So I do feel like it was pretty good. Next is visual quality at a 2.5 out of 5. It is right in the middle, average, I think. Like, he should stop zooming in all the time, because then that can create some bad quality. Like, I mean, you can get away with zooming in a bit, but when you zoom in way, like, a lot, the quality really suffers when you're filming on a phone. So I think you should stop doing that and just move your phone closer, without having to zoom in so much when you want to get a close up. And I think overall, just the quality was just kind of pretty average, you know. And you can't really change that as much if you don't have like enough money for a good camera, or to get like a better phone that has better quality. So I don't really blame him for it, but it's still a problem in it. But I mean, it was okay. Sound design, 3.3 out of 5. Sound effects are pretty good. Had some good ones there, some good door closing sound effects, some footsteps and stuff like that. And it was all timed well, and it was enough sound effects in there to where it just like wasn't silent for a while, which I see in a lot of people's stuff where they're moving around and stuff. There's no sound to it really, which is a problem, but that doesn't happen here. But the sound effects were kind of just pretty kind of basic stuff, but you know, I mean, wasn't any like really, didn't need to be any really impressive sound effects, I guess. It was all like pretty solid for the most part. Music, 2 out of 5. This is my least favorite part of the whole entire film. It was these weird, I don't know how to describe the music. It was just really awkward choices for a lot of them. Like, I don't know, and it was also too loud, by the way. The music, like, I couldn't hear the dialogue, and it just doesn't, more than, like, probably 75% of the time, the music did not need to be there in those dialogue scenes. And if you're gonna have music in dialogue scenes, just have it be quieter and have a purpose besides just being like, oh, there's no music in this, let's just put it in. That's not what you should do. Music should serve a point and not just be shoved in there just for the sake of having sound in there. So yeah, and the music, yeah, it's like I said, too loud. Just some really awkward choices that don't fit in. Like in the first scene, the weird, like cringy YouTube background music that people use, and just stuff like that was really awkward choices. VFX, 3 out of 5. A lot of drawn effects, but I think they were decent. The standout was probably the growing effect for Mysterio in the beginning scene. That was really cool. And just that beginning scene had the best VFX for sure. But as the film went on, it was just kind of like, pretty average. But it was still good. So that's why it gets 3 out of 5 above average. So, yeah, that's it for the categories. And with that, the final score, 61 out of 100. So 61% is the score. And I'd say that's right where my enjoyment falls. I think this is the best episode. I'd probably give the last episode like a 5 or 50% or whatever. So this one's like a whole 10% higher than the last one. I think in the actual review I gave it like a 54%, 55%, something like that. So this one is higher. Best episode yet for sure. He's slowly improving at things, which is good. I don't expect like a humongous improvement, so I'm satisfied with this one. So if you guys have stop motions for me that you want me to react to, definitely put those suggestions in the comments or DM me on Instagram at RealNoahFilms, and I will check out your stop motion. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next video.